Hello, welcome to PODnas. This is a sports show with some Southern and Cajun flair. I'm Daniel Hawks. Jared Roser's over there. Today, we're going to talk a little summer football. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, has retired from the NFL after 12 seasons. We'll mainly get into that, and then we've got some Tulane news and their new quarterback, and also a little bit of news, some Southern and LSU news kind of combining. Bear with me,
man.
Jared, it's been a
Southern
minute.
running back.
How we doing?
Yeah. I'm good.
Took a little time off. It's summer. These things happen.
This is Wednesday, July 23rd. We're recording this. I opened my laptop this morning and realized that I had not opened it since like late Friday, which was the first time that I have not been on my laptop in 4 days since the ankle break of 2021. And prior to that, I don't know. Like it may have occurred at some point when we went to Italy for a while in the summer of 2019. But honestly, I don't think that was even the case because I was working a lot on the Italy trip. And so it was simultaneously exciting to realize that I had enjoyed a few days of relative disconnect and also really sad to realize how infrequently it happens.
You know,
but now we're back. So it's
for me about this whole thing is your recollection of years and when things happened. Like you were just like Italy 2019, or back in the summer of 2022 when the ankle break. Like for me, I would have been like, the nose, I broke it. I don't know. It was like between 18 and 21. I'm not sure. It just all blurs together. I don't know anymore.
I got really frustrated the other day asking our friend on different levels, a young Allison, about her life, and essentially was, hey, when did you live in New Orleans? And she couldn't remember the years that she lived there, and so I was having to kind of
shout out to her. Her and I are very similar on that.
Work backward. I was like, well, look, what years did you live in Los Angeles? And she's like, I don't know. It was like, there's got to be a way to figure it out. Like this was your life, not that many years ago. Actually, I can tell you moved back to Louisiana in December 2019. So I can tell you that part of your life. So you were how long were you in California? I don't know. I was like, all right, cool, great. I don't get it, but I'm over it.
I had to pull this up on my phone. I don't know why I had to show you my phone for that. But today is the day, 13 years ago, that I moved out of Baton Rouge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. I have that. I have that in my it's marked. The only reason I have it and I know the years because it's marked down in my calendar. So
it was a Monday morning. You hit the road, and I was super hungover after the Sunday.
See, yeah, I forgot that it was on a Monday, but now I remember it was right after a Sunday fun day. Oh man,
I cried a lot. Karaoke at walk-ons on a Sunday night. Yeah,
there we go. Let's get into a little bit of news. We've gone off such a tangent. I love it. We don't get to tangent very much during the football season. We just get right into it. So, but football news is still happening in the NFL. Getting ready for training camps. A lot of teams have started to report to training camps, but one player will not be reporting. Tyrann Mathieu says he's going to hang up his cleats. He is retiring from the NFL after a long career. Really, really great, I think, comeback story from when he was at LSU and everything that he went through. What his time at LSU with the very high highs and the very crash out lows of having to leave the team, coming back and really making his name for himself in the NFL. Congrats on a lovely career, a great career, a fun career across the board. Whether it was the Texans, Kansas City, I forgot who was with before the Saints, but I know there's one more team in there. It's been a joy to kind of watch him play football the last 12 years in the NFL and kind of be one of the first kind of players I know from when I was, whether at LSU or right around the time when I was getting there, that kind of really, really followed and felt like more connected to because they were on campus when I was on campus. So it just makes a little bit of a difference. So it's fun,
Yeah. I think you look back to him late in his freshman year, really coming on strong and then becoming, the Honey Badger his sophomore year and becoming a guy that really I mean, as social media was taking off, was kind of one of the early meme level names.
Yeah.
And just,
Honey Badger don't give a shit. Curse jargon. Honey Badger don't give
just branded personas on top of obviously a guy that at his peak, from a college standpoint, we're talking about a defensive player that was discussed in Heisman conversations, which is a rarity for sure. But he was singular in a lot of ways in terms of the impact that he brought as a defensive and special teams impact guy at such a high level that you talked about in a Heisman conversation, and became someone that a generation of young Louisiana football players grew up wanting to be Honey Badger-esque, essentially, in a really cool way. An impact that lasted way past, to a point where there are guys that probably only vaguely as young players were watching him at that level for LSU, but who still, by the time, years and years later, were getting to that age where they were in the recruiting process, and I'm writing stories about them, and they're talking about Tyrann Mathieu, and they want to be kind of like the Honey Badger in terms of the ball skills and impact that he had. Like it was kind of incredible. And then to watch, as you said, going through the challenges and lows and just having to like work through some of that, stay the course, and then have the NFL career that he had. I think there's just so many aspects of him, the player that he was, but also the way he went about his business, that are incredible to look back on, and that he'll be remembered for in so many different ways and so many different stages of his career, all the way to the point of being the veteran elder statesman, the landlord in the secondary later on in his career, and a guy that has given back to his LSU roots, has given back to his New Orleans roots, and has kept both of those so close to him and so present in who he is as a pro for so long that it's been awesome to watch him, and I can't wait to see what's next, because I know he wants to get involved in coaching.
Yeah. And it was Arizona, the team I was thinking of.
The team that drafted him to go play with Pat
Peterson, which I was going to say, I think is such a great thing for him in his career that he got immediately paired with Patrick Peterson. I think things could have gone a lot different if he would have ended up with Cleveland as the first pick. No rub on Cleveland, but rub on Cleveland. But all in all, just want to say congrats on a great career for LSU athlete and native. It's just great to see what he's, like you said, giving back to the community and also giving to the game of football.
Shout out to both those guys who, look, Pat Pete didn't play this past season, but hadn't officially retired, but just, a few months ago, like filed his paperwork and all of that. And so two guys that have been exceptional at both the college and NFL levels, and all throughout have repped LSU in such a huge way. And, credit to those guys for everything they've accomplished, and looking forward to what's next for them, as again, they've remained heavily tied to the Tigers throughout. And I know would both love to be around Baton Rouge that much more in different capacities moving forward.
Absolutely. And what's next for the Saints? How are they going to fill this hole with Tyrann Mathieu? That is a good question. They did sign Julian Blackmon to a contract just a couple days ago. You like that transition? That was a real good transition.
I like the transition point makes a ton of sense. And I also like that you said, now what's next? That's a good question. Here's the answer also from me.
Whatever, man. I was in my bag a little bit. I'm not even gonna be mad about it. But Saints have two options really going into for the specific safety position. When they move around in the nickel, that'll be I think a kind of committee by what they have. But they did sign Julian Blackmon a couple days ago, and also they drafted a third rounder, Jonas Senker. So we'll see kind of who takes that in camp, which, like you said, is just starting, or will they kind of just rotate these guys in and see which one kind of makes sense depending on what the vibe of the game is and what the game plan and how the game is playing out.
Yeah. Coming back from vacation, I'm not haven't crushed a lot of Blackman tape. Don't have a great feel. I know that he's had his own shares of ups and downs up there in Indy, and I mean he's had some great years. He's had some years like this past one where it's been a little bit more of a grind, battled some injuries and whatnot, and so it'll be interesting to see just kind of the version of him that arrives to New Orleans, and if he's back healthy and can kind of regain some of the form from earlier years in his career, or just how he kind of rebounds from what seems like it was a little bit of a down 2024, and is he potentially a steal coming off of that year that can come in and play back to form from a couple years ago, or what are we looking like in the secondary again this year?
I mean, listen. Saints are going to suck, so let's just strap in. It is what it is. We've talked about this. The state of New Orleans professional teams right now is not fun, but I think that this is the Saints had to come to this. This is the reckoning of kicking all that money down the road. The bill comes due. I'm just glad. I think they've somewhat started to embrace it and just suck for a little bit, because that's the only way they're going to get out of this. So,
and also nice little opportunity to plug the basketball episode whenever we do that one, because there's a lot of suck to embrace on the Pelican side of things too. Embrace the suck,
Embrace the suck. It's the summer of suck. All right. Honey Badger don't give a.
I mean the fall and winter and spring for Saints and then Pels, but they starting early.
Yeah, there we go. That's all we got for you today, Jared. Do you have anything else you want to?
Hold on. We hit on the college stuff too. We got the Southern and Tulane news.
Wow, I just completely skipped over that. I'm doing great. This is what happens when you bring your notes down to read something up here. Oh, what am I doing?
Yeah, you want to talk Tulane or Southern first?
Let's do Southern LSU right now, and you kind of take the lead on this one. I know you're a little bit better.
Yeah, so
for it.
Trey Holly is at Southern, which came Tuesday night as a surprise to many people. That quietly, the 2023 LSU running back signee, the Louisiana record-setting running back out of Union Parish High School up in Farmerville. He'd been battling legal issues the last couple of years, I guess now, or, feels like it's getting close to 2 years. It's been dragging on quite a while where we haven't had a chance to see Trey on the football field since that 2023 season, and now is at Southern as he continues to wait for some clarity on the legal issues back home. And I don't think in either one of these we're going to get too specifically into the actual legalities of things, but
was he completely cut from the LSU program? Did they cut ties completely?
I don't think that really happened. I think he kind of took
okay. That's what I'm wondering. And does that work? Can you just enroll at two schools? I'm sure you can, but I know you can, but can you?
He can't be a part of both teams.
Or play teams. Like, that would be an ultimate Travis Hunter move. Like, go play a game in the morning, an 11 a.m. game, and then pop over for the 6.
Or like I was reading about the day in like 2015 spring training where Will Ferrell was just a part of 10 different teams in MLB spring training as part of a raise cancer research awareness publicity situation, or Brian Jordan and Deion Sanders type stuff like back in the day with Braves and Falcons and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, the details of a lot of the Trey Holly situation, again, I think most of us here were surprised to see the photo of Trey in a Jags uni, not realizing that this had happened. And so a lot of it
also, how do you not know that? Like, that's going to get very public.
Well, I don't think anyone was hiding anything. It was just something that hadn't gotten out yet. It wasn't a secret that he was hiding. It was just something that had happened quietly enough with no announcements in any direction that surprised a lot of folks that it had happened without us realizing it. And again, it's July. It's summer workout season. So it's not like we're talking about this happening mid-season. Everybody's kind of on vacation right now. LSU fall camp doesn't start for another week plus, I think. And so we hadn't realized yet that he wasn't with the LSU team.
So is he not on? So here's what I'm asking. And is he still on the LSU team or is he on the Southern team now?
He's with Southern now.
He's with Southern.
And Trey is no longer on the LSU football roster, like fully.
Okay, so what you're telling me is Trey is not on the LSU roster, which has got to mean that LSU just let him go or released him and kind of let him without any official announcement and just let him go and find a new home. But I mean, maybe for him and maybe with all the stuff that he's going through with those legal issues, it just worked out better for everyone that he was able to just go find a new home. And that happens to be Southern, they're able to kind of wipe their hands of it. And he's also able to get a fresh start. Right.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of a lot of this other than I think regardless of allegations toward Trey or, situations that he was alleged to have been close to, again, a year and a half ago or whatever, I think regardless of your takeaways of if you think he did anything wrong or if you think he's innocent and was just kind of unfortunately in a bad place at a bad time or whatever, I think the fact that this has dragged on as long as it has is kind of insane to me. I know in Wilson Alexander's story for The Advocate that came out, whether it was late Tuesday, early Wednesday, there was a reference of his trial date being delayed by months again because of the air conditioning being out in the Union Parish courthouse. And so they just pushed his date back that much longer. And again, this is stuff stemming from, I don't remember the exact date on it, but this has been dragging out for well over a year now. And we're just kind of in this wait and see mode. And so again, regardless of the specifics of it and the outcomes of it, it's kind of insane to me, the timeline of it all. And so now here we are with a guy who has not been, to my knowledge, found guilty of anything, or to anyone's knowledge, has not been found guilty of anything. We're kind of in this level of wait and see mode and still kind of dragging out. And now we'll see. It looks like he's got an opportunity to go over there and play some football at Southern and see kind of, what shape he's in and whatnot. But he's someone that is an incredibly talented young athlete. But we haven't seen him in a while actually at it. And so we'll see.
Hey, well, we'll cover it here on PODnas. We'll get it. Speaking of allegations, Tulane has a new quarterback.
Yeah, man. Jake Retzlaff, who, again, we're not going to get in.
We're not here to get into any of that. But I will.
We don't have the specifics. Yeah.
Yeah, he did get suspended for BYU, not for the any allegation that he went up against. He got suspended by BYU for breaking their honor code for admitting to having premarital sex. So shame on you, sir. Okay.
What we can say is there were allegations brought against him of a sexual assault nature.
Yeah.
There was some sort of settlement agreement made that those charges were dropped, but still in that process, he admitted to having had premarital sex. And so that's, as you were saying, that's where the potential suspension with BYU was coming from. And so he withdrew from school and missed the transfer portal because of the timing of all of this and whatnot. And so he enrolls at Tulane and will become a walk-on athlete at Tulane, who is now in the middle of this, 4-man quarterback room that is trying to replace the shoes left by Darian Mensah in his transfer to Duke, who, reminder to folks in New Orleans, Duke comes to Ullman Stadium this year. And so Darian Mensah and company with the Blue Devils will be playing at Tulane in September. TJ Finley, who we talked about when it occurred, got caught up in some Facebook scam nonsense with a stolen vehicle. And so a guy that, fans here locally knew very well, had been a bit of a journeyman, and came to New Orleans for what would have been the last stop of his college career. He ends up having to leave the program because of his own ongoing legal situations. And then Summerall and company just this offseason have been in search and find options at the quarterback positions mode, and now head into fall camp with a wide open battle of guys who arrived to New Orleans from all over the country, slew of stops under their belts. And Retzlaff, I mean, is a guy that enters this with as much of a track record of success at BYU as anybody, and has the potential to really change this season in a huge way for Tulane, but arrives at the end of June to to dive into
so
a completely hard to catch new program.
Yeah. New program, new playbook, new wide receivers, new line, all of that stuff just, is going to be really hard to catch up on. But you would think that even maybe if he's not starting the first couple games, especially because this is someone John Summerall recruited or went after when he was at Troy. So there is a little bit of a background with these two. So, Summerall has liked what he's seen in Retzlaff's game, however we say his last name. That's not my forte.
And I think that, I think, that's not your forte, even when you personally know the guy.
No, I know. Absolutely. That's why I don't get upset about it, please.
The relationship standpoint, I don't know. There are probably ways that it will help in terms of the transition here and just the familiarity with each other, and a certain level of trust and confidence, and just knowing his game. I think can maybe help you try and more quickly put him into positions and running things that you think he can be most successful with. But where I think that really helped, in my opinion, is just a trust level of, all right, level with me about what is actually going on here on your end of things, and a confidence and a trust level of character and faith in this dude that is now being brought into the program. And so I think during the vetting process, that familiarity was probably extremely helpful in terms of figuring out, is this a guy that you want to bring into the program? Do you trust kind of his explanation of what has happened and how he's going to handle now his next stop? And so that was an interesting piece to me in terms of the recruitment note and their familiarity from the trail.
Do you think that this moves the needle on Tulane possibly being in the mix again, not only just for the American title, but also in the mix for that one, outside power 4 slot in the country, in the playoff bracket this upcoming season, all the stuff?
I think we're both so out of it right now. Like my head is killing me. I know I'm rambling every time I talk, but we were like,
this could be a nice 15-minute episode. We're on 30.
Yeah, I can feel the aggressive caffeine and lack of food hitting me right now. I think overall, in terms of moving the needle on Tulane's season and their potential competition for a playoff spot, possibly. I think we're waiting to see just what that transition looks like. I think for a lot of these guys, you've seen some flashes of the ability, and Retzlaff more than any. Again, he had a lot of success in leading a successful program on a big stage at BYU, but it's a new team. He's in new circumstances. He's a guy that's got to come in, and any of these guys are guys that have to come in and take the lead of a new program, which can come with, hurdles and bumps along the way. There's always going to be a challenge of transition for any new player into a situation, but when it's the quarterback having to come and be the leader of everything, that can be a bit of a process. And so watching how those guys handle that, how the rest of the team reacts to them, how these guys handle some of their first bumps in the road on the field, how they adjust to the new playbook and all those things. There's just a lot of uncertainty. And I think it's almost like playing spades, like currently Tulane's coaching staff and looking at that quarterback spot. They've given themselves a bunch of possibles, and it's going to be interesting to see who hits and kind of reaches that potential, takes the position, runs with it, and how fully effective they are. Because right now I think there's potential, but it's still question marks until we see it play out on Saturdays.
Yeah. And Saturdays are coming up so soon. Football Saturdays are almost here. I'm super excited about that. I just have kind of gotten a little bit more deep diving into like what's actually going to be going on this kind of football season and kind of reacclimating myself with what teams are going to be fighting for that position. So I'm excited. I'm excited for all this stuff to play out. We will obviously keep you updated here on PODnas. My brain is also fried. Jared, I know your brain is also fried. I think that's all we have for you today.
Yeah. Let me just fully apologize to like how coffee jittery I've gotten during the course of this for all three of our fans who are our loyal listeners each and every week.
Yeah.
I think we hit on a lot of good stuff, but I definitely know that I went off the rails in caffeination at some point in the middle of this.
So we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to do the quick spiel and then I'll get out of here. Follow us on all the socials. You can follow LA versus all y'all on Twitter and on Instagram. And you can go to PODnas_LA on Instagram to follow us and see clips from the show. And we'll probably have something from a little bit of behind the scenes stuff today. Who knows? That's all we got for you, PODnas.